Oh, what a day it is, right here in Ocala, Florida. Welcome, everybody, to the premiere of the Jonathan Morris Schwartz My Manic Brain program on my YouTube channel entitled Jonathan Morris Schwartz My Manic Brain program. We're going to be going through the audio version along with commentary, some discussion. There will be guests. There will be opposing points of view. Just want to point out that my book, published, My Manic Brain, Sex, Politics, and Everlasting Life, is available on Amazon.com. For those of you who would like to read it, it is 63 chapters of bite-sized commentary, interesting information on digital media, and I'll be going through chapter 1 today. First, though, let's discuss why. Why in this day and age, with the TikTok and the Facebook and Instagram and snapping and Facebooking and Twittering, why would you want to, number one, listen to a middle-aged frog drone on about sex, politics, and everlasting life? And why am I doing this program? What's the purpose? What's the mission? Well, let me start by first establishing a couple principles of my own that really got me started on both the title of My Manic Brain and why I'm pursuing this program. First, I am a strong proponent of the First Amendment. I'm basically an absolutist. I, of course, believe you do not yell fire in a crowded theater. Of course, you can yell fire in an uncrowded theater. But honestly, I'm of the belief that what's happened now with social media and with the cancel culture is that many arguments that years ago would have devolved into name calling and you would lose are now getting to a point where a conversation where someone disagrees with you and they call you a douchebag or a poop stain can or a poopy head or worse are winning the argument sometimes. The loudest, most vulgar opinion, which oftentimes has no empirical value, is not based in any fact, is winning, is canceling. And this book addresses a lot of those concerns and those issues. It's important, before I get into chapter 1, that I make it clear for those who either know me before or who will know me now, that this book is designed to be provocative. It's designed to inspire debate about marriage, relationships, interpersonal communication, sex, and spirituality in the digital age. There is vulgarity. I've tried not to use gratuitous or overt language, but there are some descriptives, particularly around the sex, that may not be for young children. However, for teens, preteens, teenagers, and certainly adults, this can be an important discussion, and this book can be very, very important and entertaining for those ages. Essentially, this book, My Manic Brain, Sex, Politics, and Everlasting Life, is an unfiltered truth about the delusion of love and the true meaning of life. The stories are based in fact. There is a healthy dose, though, of philosophy, insight, analysis of cultural phenomena, humor, and commentary. The book is classified as nonfiction because it's not a retelling of it's not a strict nonfiction in the sense of a story about Abraham Lincoln, and it certainly isn't fiction in that I'm not weaving a tale from my inner muse about some story that may have a seed in real life, but then it splits out into areas of pure fantasy. This book has true stories in it. There are no formal names. It is just pronouns. Nobody is exposed. There is stories that I use for social commentary, for discussion, for comment, and to make my own point. But it is nonfiction in the sense of that humor, commentary, and social analysis and discussion. some chapters are lewd and raw enough to warrant some caution. Chapter 1 is entitled, which is what we're about to go into, Marriage is a Mental Illness. Now, do I really believe in my heart and soul that every single marriage is indeed a mental illness? Of course not. My own parents have been married 60 years. There are plenty of people married 10, 20, 50, 80 years who would beg to differ that their marriage is a mental illness. Again, do I believe there are aspects of marriage that are absolutely nuts crazy? Yes. That don't make sense? Yes. And that's what the chapter explores. It's not that I don't believe it, it's that I want to provoke debate, comment, some controversy, and discussion, and provide some laughs. It spares nothing, the book. Vivid vulgarity, extreme emotion, tortured romance, love, consequences of social media, and the rapidly advancing technology of our interactions and ability to trust. Are we swiping and ghosting ourselves into extinction or oblivion? Are we destined to enter an unimaginably mind-blowing virtual fantasy world? Are we losing our human touch? And how do we achieve satisfaction and, importantly, gratefulness when so many of us are alone, particularly with the pandemic? So, for those of you who would like to read the book, you can get it. But for those who don't like to read or would prefer the audio version, you're going to get it on these episodes along with commentary, discussion, and some clarifications as needed by me, the author. Without further ado, here we go. Fasten your seatbelts. I'm about to tell you why marriage is indeed a mental illness. Nobody reads anymore. In a TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Netflix, YouTube, porn-infused world, naked words are the equivalent of baker's chocolate, completely useless until mixed with flour and eggs. But the dream of having dirty, nasty, forbidden sex with a girl you will never understand occasionally happens. Realizing that despite your utter averageness, she enjoys your kisses and sensual touch, grabbing you 1 minute, surrendering to your fantasy the next, whining, screaming, and writhing with indescribable pleasure, is almost too surreal to bear. She knows you are not rich, a virtual nothing, but is allowing this to happen strictly for the joy of it. What is going on? Why is she letting you do this? What is she expecting? Are you still reading? Of course you are. Why? Because this journey is as real as it gets. Sex is love. Just accept it. Physical appearance, that is sexual attraction, in this social media atmosphere matters. The better looking you are, the more attention you will receive, the more influential you will be, the more sex you will have, and the more power you will wield. For those who disagree, there are drugs that your doctor can prescribe to help soothe your denial. You either find a way to accept and be satisfied with those in your physical range, or you spend your whole life in a sad, depressing reality, never being sexually satisfied because of a warped, perverse sense of what is attainable. Those for whom sex and love are so bifurcated that with a few drinks they could literally have sex with a goat, perhaps are the chosen people. Most of us are too picky and delusional about our prospects that we would throw away an abiding, deep, true love for a mate who would be just as satisfied with a blow-up doll. Those for whom any erect penis or wet vagina will suffice, regardless of what is attached. Are you still reading? Yes. Because sex, for good or for bad, is the new love. Tinder, Bumble, Plenty of Fish, Grindr, and many others are the new holy grails. Who is going to view that one picture of you in the perfect lighting, airbrushed back to pubescence, and let you into their world? This is the new euphoria. Will she moan? Will he bone me into the stratosphere? Will we condone painful, barely legal, borderline abusive, physical, sex-controlled desire, pain, pleasure, mutually beneficial, orgasmic fantasy? Will the carnal, out of control last? Why does the written word matter? They are just strung together letters because only words will take us where we need to go. Man meets woman. Man and woman tingle with underlying physical excitement. Man and woman flirt, dance, conflate, prance until they burst into sexual emotion, and explore and rub and fantasize until the moment when both realize it is not what they thought it would be and they want out. Sometimes it's seamless and mature and they part amicably. Sometimes it's deadly. Sometimes they recover and love again. Sometimes their hearts forever harden and they remain alone. There is no such thing as the merging of two souls or everlasting love. Some are simply better at faking it than others. Quick aside here, of course, there are times, and I can remember one time in graduate school when I was dating my first wife, that we would be together, we would look into each other's eyes, and indeed, I was so enthralled and entranced and excited and filled with enough serotonin and adrenaline to probably kill the normal human being, that there were times that I was with her that I did indeed see beneath the beautiful, and there was a lot of beautiful to see beneath, and felt like we were connected on that spiritual, soulful, non-biological manner. So I'm not poo-pooing that. I'm just pointing out that, sadly, it rarely lasts. Many believe the hackneyed trope, men want sex, women want emotional connection. Well, the truth is, of course, both men and women enjoy sex. For a man, though, sex in and of itself is the beginning, middle, and end of the journey. Any lingering emotion typically wears off as other conquests beckon. When the sex is completed, preferably with an orgasm, that concludes all mental and emotional involvement, and many will fall asleep shortly thereafter and dream of their favorite sporting event or the bacon cheeseburger they had for lunch. Women, no matter how mind-blowing the sex is itself, when completed, it opens a portal of desire for further closeness, cuddling, dreaming of a lifetime future together, craving endless devotion and desire and financial security. Simply put, for women, sex is the big bang, but the emerging, ever-expanding universe is the goal and desired journey. And for men, sex is the big bang, period. Before I get into the 10 reasons why marriage is a mental illness, let me clarify. Are there exceptions to this rule that I'm stating? Of course. Are there men who care more about the cuddling and the future, and women that just want sex and nothing more? Yes. Am I speaking stereotypically? Yes. Am I overstating it? I don't think so. But let me know in the comments if you do. And I respond to every comment, all one of them so far. But I will respond to all of them, I promise. And if you subscribe, there are no words. There are no words to how much I will be devoted to you and answer any comments that you have, even the nasty ones. All right. Here are, drum roll please, the 10 reasons why marriage is a mental illness. Please disagree as you wish. Number 1, we are animals. And animals want, some say need, to flirt. And when the occasion presents itself, engage in sex with more than one person their entire lives. Self-control, ha 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 ha, but if you really love someone, you'll only desire them, ha 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 ha. Trying to squelch temptation is like swearing off chocolate cake or coffee or, for many of us, marijuana or butterflies or rainbows or any other joy of being alive. Sure, you can muster the self-control, but it is not natural, and you will either succumb and sleep with someone else or spend the rest of your life wishing you did. Number 2, Who in their right mind thinks it's healthy for two people to swear before God that they will be devoted, love, honor, cherish, remain loyal to only each other until death do you part? People change over time. Roles are no longer cemented with the man going to work and the woman cleaning house and baking cookies for 50 years or so. So, if there's cheating or domestic abuse or financial incompatibility or severe debility or simply a growing apart, the only way out is through an oftentimes expensive, humiliating legal procedure, whereas lawyers and judges get to decide what, where, when, and if there is a way out. Without that silly piece of paper, if things do not work out, you both go your separate ways, period. Number 3, fantasy never lives up to reality. Number 4, there is no evidence married people are better parents than non-married ones. If there are, please let me know in the comments and I will correct myself. Number 5, half of marriages end up in divorce. Number 6, the other half dream about it. Ha 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 ha. Number 7, after the honeymoon phase, many couples enter a strange self-delusional state, whereas they go through the marriage motions but are really lying, cheating, and stealing like drunken sailors. Let me talk about number 7 for a minute. There is nothing wrong with a couple sticking to their vows no matter what. Non-judgmental am I. And if it turns out that a lifestyle that includes lying, cheating, and stealing is generally ignored because staying together in the marriage is more valuable, that divorce is simply a no-go no matter what, fine. But it does beg the question, then why marry? I mean, if you're going to lie, cheat, and steal, why not lie, cheat, and steal as a single person? Just saying that's number 7. Number 8, only the bride enjoys the wedding. Everyone else bears and grins it. Well, of course, more than just the bride enjoys the wedding, but for the most part, again, somewhat stereotypically, with the dress and the bridesmaids and all of the accoutrements of the wedding and the planning, oftentimes it's the joy of the bride. And it also builds up an awful lot of excitement for the blessed event, which goes by in the blink of an eye and is suddenly a memory, and sometimes can breed some depression, because real life oftentimes isn't as much of a fantasy as the wedding itself. Number 9, I dare you from a reasonable distance to tell the difference between a $100 cubic zirconia and a $10,000 real diamond. You can. Now, obviously, if one of your friends or colleagues is walking around with one of those little microscope glass eye things that the diamond brokers have, and you say, look at my real 2-carat diamond, and they whip that thing out and look at it, and you could be embarrassed, but the truth is, no one's going to know the difference. And, drum roll please, number 10, there is no such thing as the joining of two souls. We are individuals with unique dreams and goals and desires. No promise or legal document or multi-tiered cake, no matter how delicious, will change that. Those are the 10 reasons. Some will agree, some will not. I am thrilled that you joined this first episode of My Manic Brain. Jonathan Morris Schwartz here. I will be continuing frequently. We will go through the chapters, not necessarily in order. There are 63 chapters in the book, and the next one is chapter 2, This Time He Means It, and we will go into all types of bite-sized, provocative, mind-blowing, sometimes infuriating, sometimes vulgar, sometimes overtly sexual, sometimes spiritual aspects of modern life, and I'd love for you to join me in the discussion. Thank you, and oh, what a day it was, right here in Ocala, Florida. Have a nice day.